I don't want to set the world on fire. Oh, we are live. Elaine, Marolakos, Edelson here. Hi, I'm back with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. Let's get your mojo on. Looking for my pen. All right, I had it a minute ago. Well, the retrograde might be here already because I get so lonely when she's not there. I have so many little things that I'm talking about today. Found it. Got my pen. Ready to go. Hey, Dean's here. Hi, Dean. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, aches and pains go away. We're going to be talking about healing tips for you. What does that mean? Well, in astrology, let me just start by saying that the planets don't do anything to you. We live in a cooperation. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, it's reflected in the heavens. How can it not be any other way? Because we are connected to all things. And that energy is prevalent in life. So you can look for clues in astrology, in the stains in your carpet. Open up a book and look at the first word that comes to you, and it might apply to your healing process. So we're going to be talking about healing from the inside out. And let's just start with this. Everybody just take a nice deep breath. It's calmer now. Have you been stressed in the past week, month, year, lifetime? Have you been spinning out of control? Do you have brain fog? What's going on? How many things can you focus on in one day? Sometimes people have a symptom or an ailment and they go right for one quick fix, or not even a fix. Maybe it's just a blocker, let me take this pill, get rid of it. Let me have a drink, get rid of it. And then the thing comes back. So I want you to start to make the correlation between how you treat your body, what goes into your body, what kind of nutrition it has or it's lacking, and the time. I want to say your timing, because with your timing, you'll see in astrology that things really do matter. And when a person is under a lot of stress, they're working hard, they have kids, you got to go home and do the laundry, pay the bills, you got to deal with life, and then you have aches and pains, and suddenly it gets worse, and you take a pill or you have a thing, and you can't sleep now, so then you take something for that, and then it escalates and it spirals out of control because you just start to mask everything with little bits of pieces of information, and you really don't get to the core, and then it gets fragmented. And then you might go to a doctor, which you need to do, or many doctors, which I have I want to say a plethora. Does that apply? I have a plethora of healing people. Maybe it's the chiropractor, the naturopath, the energy worker, the acupuncturist, the massage therapist. You don't want to fragment things. Your body's going to talk to you. So as you fragment and say, oh, I've had this headache and it's the headache, but I also have this shoulder pain and that's something separate. When your body talks to you, it's telling you something over and over and over again. And what I want you to start to do is recognize the correlation between the pains and the aches and the stressors in your body and what kind of exercise you do or don't do, what kind of food you eat or don't eat, how much liquid goes into your body, and what kind of chemicals are attached to that liquid. Is it purified water? Is it too much wine? Is it, the Red Bulls just to keep your energy going? So eventually when you start to put chemicals in your body, it breaks down the potency and the power that you have to heal yourself. And we want to help you to heal who you are on any level. And so I'm just going to quickly talk about the planets as it relates to healing. And then I want you to let me know in the comment section what is ailing you, what hurts. Are you exhausted? You can't get to sleep. Are you menopausal? Are you PMS? Does your knee hurt? Are your feet killing you? Like what's going on with you? Let me know. So right now I'm just going to talk about the planets and how their definitions apply to different parts of the body. When the ancients, the Babylonians and the Greeks put together, and the Persians as well, put together the astrological system. Zodiac is Greek literally, and it means circle of beings. But, not all of the astrology definitions apply to beings. So Mercury is given, the planet Mercury is given that energy because it's closest to the sun and it revolves very quickly. So the ancients attached Mercury to the definition of Hermes, the messenger god, where it was quick motion and quicksilver, literally, and fleetfoot. So there were wings on the feet, and energy moved very quickly for Mercury. So when we look at Mercury, we look at the definition as it relates to your thought process, your perceptions, your style of communication. Now, in the body, however, it represents your lungs, how you take in life, and your arms, and how you express your whole self, your opinion, and your perceptions. And to some degree, Mercury also deals with the nervous system. And as Mercury guides the two planets of the two signs of Virgo and Gemini, they are given definitions of having more quick thoughts, being inundated with details, or needing to find the data, data-driven, information hound kind of people, and sometimes not being able to sleep because they're up thinking about how to solve this problem, what to do with this next thing, So when you are up all night and you're thinking all the time, you start to create anxiety. Could be higher levels of stress and cortisol. And then we look at the next planet that would deal with, which is Venus. And Venus governs the two signs of Libra and Taurus. So then we look at the endocrine system, the thyroid, the parathyroid, how the body's function relates to feeling, because Libra and Taurus are sensual in energy, even though one is an air sign and one is an earth sign. One will go for the wine to medicate, or the workout to medicate, or the judgment to medicate, where the other will go for the carbs and the sugar, or the couch potato healing technique. Guess who that is, Taurus? So Venus also represents the adrenals. So when you're having maybe a Mercury passing through your chart and you see that you can't stop thinking, or your perceptions and judgments are keeping you up, and he said that and she said this, or you've got details, there's paperwork on your desk and you just can't get through it all. Sometimes it's overload, right? And then we start to get confused. So it's not just the nutrients that you're putting in your body or the lack of nutrients in your body. It's how you perceive things, how you think, and then it's how you express yourself. So Venus is also connected, not just the adrenals, but to the throat and how you verbalize. You might be caught up in something and you're really frustrated and you just can't stop. And then, then the next thing you know, you have a sore throat. Well, are you expressing yourself? Are you vocalizing? Are you letting things out in a calm, healthy, clear, concise, or to get your message across and you get angry? It's okay to be angry. There are different forms of anger, but it's okay to be expressive. And when we look at anger, we look at Mars, and that's the next planet. And Mars deals with the head and the eyes and the blood system, infections and inflammation, fevers, and sudden onset of a symptom. And so if you're not dealing with something, you're going over and over and over something in your head. Mercury energy, respiratory system, can't breathe, take in life. It's just overwhelming. And then Venus kicks in, and then you've got adrenal energy, cortisol levels shooting through the roof. And then Mars, and you're not expressing yourself. And then Mars comes in and you're feeling really angry and frustrated. And then you have a sudden symptom, a sudden fall, a sudden outbreak of something, acne or allergy symptoms or headaches or, just something that just comes out and you can't, it feels like it's out of the blue. Because if you're not dealing with your anger and your thoughts and your perceptions and your expression, then we're already looking at these definitions of Mercury, Venus, Mars energy. And in the blood system with Mars, we also look at anemia and infections and inflammation, as I said, and fevers and sudden onset, but also accidents. What you think is an accident because you're so busy thinking about stuff, you're not dealing with stuff. And then the next thing, you're not expressing that stuff. And then the cortisol levels are shooting through the roof. And then you're not paying attention because you're not present, because you're in your mind thinking about all these other things. You see how it starts to move through the body. The astrology definitions are assigned to different parts of the body so that you can be present with the different parts of the body to then take care of the parts of the body to create the healing that you need. And then when you're not doing these things, you trip, you fall. So next thing you know, you're at the emergency room because, you hurt yourself. And so that's a sudden Mars thing, or you have a fender bender. Or I had a friend who has a lot of Aries planets, and Mars governs Aries. And she was in her head thinking about something, thinking about going over blah, 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 blah. And she was cleaning out wax from a candle jar and with a knife. And she was in there and she was digging and thinking and the next thing you know, boom, the glass cracks and the knife goes through her hand and she winds up in the emergency room. That was also a Uranus thing that was happening in her life. So there's a lot of sudden energy with Mars. So you want to be present as much as possible when you're thinking about something. And that thought can be an exciting thought, and maybe it gets bottled up because you won't give yourself the time to express yourself. And it gets stuck in your throat, or it gets stuck in your head, and you go around in circles. And the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. No, old Jed's in the emergency room because there was a minor fender bender or something. And then comes Jupiter. Now, remember, these planets and energies and definitions, they apply to people only as definitions. It's not that the planets are doing anything to you. But when we look at a Jupiter transit, or what Jupiter might be doing in your chart, then we see the hips and the thighs and also liver detoxification. Jupiter is an energy that represents expansion or overindulgence. And a lot of people with Jupiter transits or Jupiter energy or a major thing going on with Jupiter, they might suddenly have gout because they've just been imbibing a little bit too much French food, heavy creams, and not enough balance in the other areas, not working out, not detoxifying the system. The liver builds up and there's too many fatty cells, and then there's too much fruit, and there's too much sugar, and then there's too much wine, and there's too much food, and there's too much richness, and yet there's no clarity. And so then we look to Jupiter and say, well, what might be happening in a person's chart with a Jupiter transit? And again, it's in combination, so it's not just the planet representing what's happening for you. It's how you perceive life. It's where you expand and where you overindulge. And if you don't get enough sleep, and suddenly, to keep yourself awake, you're drinking coffee and there's a stimulant that you probably don't need. And on top of that, then there's a excess of thought and a lack of expression. And then comes the Saturn energy, and Saturn represents your basic structure in life. So it's the skin, the teeth, the nails, the bones, the joints. And when we have difficulty with our spine, sometimes we will look to the sun sign, as the sun in astrology represents the will, the ego, and also the emotional heart, and the spine, the emotional spine. And if you look at too many pressures, taking on too much responsibility, not knowing how to delegate, not knowing how to say no, sometimes that's a Saturn issue combined with the sun. And you might feel overwhelmed to such a degree that you're walking and you're like, oh, my back. It's just, and different parts of the back will represent different areas of support. There's the physical support that Saturn represents, and then the emotional support can be financial support, love, and emotional support from others, and giving yourself the stretching that your body needs. If you're sitting all day, what kind of support are you giving yourself? Do you have a comfortable chair? Are you craning and leaning forward in your seat just to get the work done? If you can make a commitment to yourself to stand up and stretch maybe 5 minutes an hour, every hour, if you have a desk job, or you sit a lot for work, or you are just sedentary, you want to move your energy. Remember, the different parts of the body in astrology start with the thinking and the perception. That's Mercury, and then the nervous system. How can we get your body in tip-top shape? What are the healing tips? I'm going to talk about those in just a couple of minutes on top of what I'm discussing right now. Okay, so when we have a Saturn cycle, we suddenly might have to go to the dentist, or again, the back is hurting. So do you have a chiropractor? Is it helping? You don't want to just go to one person and just repeat the process without mitigating your pain, emotional or physical, on your own at home. I discovered something called Eldoa, ELDOA, and those are stretches specifically for the spine. You can look them up on YouTube. Also, Mackenzie therapy. My brother-in-law is one of 50, I believe it's 50, Mackenzie trainers and practitioners, and an administrator of the Mackenzie therapy technique, and using certain exercises to help you create balance in your body. So I will do the Eldoa and some Mackenzie, and I'll do the stretches to help my back, to help replace the fluid in the spinal column, which after a while, everything gets compressed. All the discs in your spine, everything gets compressed. So you want to replenish that by stretching. And also you can make a solution called Sole, S-O-L-E, where you would take real salt, it's called real salt, or Himalayan salt, and put a couple of chunks in a plastic container with a lid, and add water and close it, and then let it just do its thing and soak. And then you take a 1/4 teaspoon and you add it to a cup of water or tea every morning, and it helps to replenish all the cells in your spine and to add a little bit more buoyancy. And then combined with the Eldoa exercises or the Mackenzie therapy exercises, and that helps to rejuvenate your spine. So the skin under a Saturn phase might show up in your body as very dry skin, or wrinkles start to form. And so you might think, well, at a certain age, I need more collagen. What type of collagen do I put into my body? Well, there's the 3 types or 4 types, and from different sources, organic sources, that would be from marine life, from beef, from chicken. And then you would add the eggshell membrane to really plump up the skin. So there's so many different things that you can do to help your body rejuvenate. When we start with Mercury, the head, perception, nervous system, and to give the body the rest that it needs by calming down the thoughts. So what could you do to help yourself? Well, there's an herb called ashwagandha, and it helps the adrenals. It's not the greatest tasting herb. Some people I know love it, but you can mix that with some tea and or water or juice. And when it's an adaptogen, so it goes where it needs to go in your body. And just doing that helps to give you a calmness and a clarity of mind, so that your sleepiness kind of goes away a little bit. But it all starts, before I continue on with the rest of the planets, when you start to look at the healing in your body and the nutrients, and moving your body to really take control and power up your energy system, or to heal an actual ailment or an illness. You want to start by doing all the proper testing. There's the blood, full panel blood test. There is the urinalysis test. There's the saliva test, also called a spit test. And then there's the hair analysis. Now, once you get all these tests done, you can see exactly where the imbalances are. And what's really fascinating is, I don't know if I have his correct name. I believe his name is Dr. Wilson. I'm going to double check on that. But anyway, he's a psychiatrist. And what he started to do, instead of just, writing out the script for his patients, he decided to go a little bit further and check out the body chemistry. So what he does for every patient that he has is he has the full panel: blood, urine analysis, hair analysis, and saliva. And then he sees where the imbalances are. And what's really amazing to me is that not every doctor does this, let alone a psychiatrist, but doctors need to be doing this, not just, how you can't spot train in exercise and in fitness. You can't just spot train one part of your body. When you work out, you're working out a set of muscles. So it stands to reason that when you're looking at healing your physical body, there's a body-mind-spirit connection that you really need to combine. So that to lower cortisol, maybe you need ashwagandha to help that. Maybe to lower your expectation of perfection. That would be a mind healing technique. Then you've got the body healing technique. And the spirit technique, it would be to meditate more, to sleep more when you need it. I mean, these are all basic common sense things, but we get so wrapped up in what we have to do and how it has to get done. And we have a timetable and 17 calendars. And, we don't allow ourselves this luxury, which should be the first thing on your checklist in the morning. Body, all right. Nutrients, working out, check. Mind, perceptions, attitude, mindset, meditation, check. Spirit, connection to energy and intuitive exercises, check. Okay, now I can begin my day. So when we look at these things that we can do to help ourselves, a little bit at a time in combination really helps. So getting back to this doctor, the psychiatrist, who discovered that too much copper in the system, caused by too much cortisol, caused by too much stress of everyday life, by not knowing how to cope, or too much anxiety, the copper levels would rise because of the cortisol levels, and then the thyroid issue would set in, the adrenal issues set in, possible anemia, and that combination created psychiatric symptoms where the person looked like they were breaking down, having a nervous breakdown, or they were losing control of their thought process and mood swings beyond belief. So what do we do? What did the doctor do? Let's balance the chemistry first by natural, what balances copper, zinc, what balances potassium, sodium, and magnesium. So when you look at the balance of the chemicals in your body, and the minerals and the trace minerals, you can get to a place of healing much faster and without dramatic overload. I had a client who literally had their thyroid removed because, and this was a few years back, because the doctors didn't know what else to do. And so because they were looking at one thing. And doctors do amazing things. I'm not putting down allopathic medicine or promoting any one type of healing technique. Amazing miracles are done with medicine, with technology, with chemistry, with naturopathy, but you can't group doctors into one column. So it depends on the doctor you're going to. Even a naturopathic, so-called, holistic person, they have a specific focus. Not every naturopathic doctor does homeopathy. They might focus in mineral detoxification, heavy metal detoxification with minerals. So you have to really stand back and take a look at taking control and taking the power back for your own healing. So when you look at where the imbalances are, your body's going to talk to you. So if you have consistent headaches, perhaps there's too much cortisol. Dry scalp. It's not just about dandruff. Bad breath. It's not just about what you're eating or if you don't brush your teeth. You want to look at the whole picture and research. I get my information on the web and I see what works for me. I've researched Dr. Axe, Dr. Berg, Dr. Mercola, and I will look at specific areas of healing based on astrology as well. When I see someone going through a Uranus transit, then I would look at where they can have massages to smooth out the energy system in the body, especially up and down the spine. So we talked about Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, now Neptune energy. Hey, Vicky. Neptune energy is, and again, remember the planets represent what's happening and the cycles that you're undergoing. That's all. It's just a mirror to what you're doing or not doing and what you need to do or what you need to do less of. All right. So Neptune energy can be dealing physically with the eyes or the intuitive vision. So if you have Neptune, you're having a Neptune transit in the 12th, 1st, 6th, or 8th house, you might be having difficulty with your vision. Maybe you need to get an eye checkup. Maybe it's about wearing different types of glasses or wearing, my husband and I both, and our daughter as well, we have blue tech lenses. The original blue tech lenses came in a champagne color like this, but now they have regular coating that it's almost like a light blue purpley tint to them, and it reflects the harmful rays from technology, so it can save your eyes. Our eye doctor talked about the rise in macular degeneration over the past 50 years alone because of computer use. So now we're becoming more savvy. What can we do to protect our eyes? What can we do to create a happier vision? This is a Neptune thing. So Neptune also deals with addictions. Now, addictions to chemicals. And the chemicals, I mean, you can be an herbalist or someone who's into homeopathy, and you could be addicted to, at one point my husband called our pantry, the White Witch pharmacy because there was a remedy, herbal thing, enzyme, amino acid or whatever for everything that we might be experiencing in our family. And so you have to be careful of what you're putting into your body, and is it too much? And if you're on a specific type of medication, again, it takes about just know this, it takes about 3 months for your body to adapt to a medication. So if you are going through menopause, or you have a PMS thing, or you have a thyroid issue, or you have had an adrenal issue, it's too much cortisol. Eventually, I'll tell you though, too high stress with adrenal issue can result in a thyroid issue, which can result in an anemia issue. And then the three cycle around again. So you want to be careful that you take care of one, but then pay attention to the others as well. And with Neptune energy, it looks like sometimes you have an overdose of something. It's like too much of one thing, even though you're looking at the prescription and the doctor said, well, doctor said, take this, but I'm feeling sick. So then you want to get retested. Blood analysis, urine analysis, saliva testing, hair analysis. That's the full spectrum of testing, and that can show you where all your minerals are, where your hormones are, where everything is, and then get it done again. Now, we are very fortunate in Arizona, and there's a few other states that do this. I'm not sure all of them yet, though. But in Arizona, we as patients can just go to the 2 different labs that provide this service in Arizona without a doctor's note. We can get our lab tests done. You can get spit test or saliva tests and hair analysis done through the Dutch company, and there's another doctor that does it, and I don't remember the name right now, but you can search online where you just, you spit into a vial. It's different times of the day, and you mail that in, and you get your test results back. But it helps to have a doctor to work with so that they can know what to do next. You get results, and you go, okay, now what? What do I do with this? So it really does help to have a variety. And I know with some states, you have to have a doctor's note to get a lab test. And then, without insurance, it could run into the thousands. It can be very expensive. So to do this a little at a time, you want to ask yourself, what hurts in my body? What's the issue? Is it fatigue? Is it mental fog? Is it my right shoulder? I just can't seem to heal my right shoulder. Well, then you assess yourself and write down all of your ailments, because some of them will be referred from others. They're not all going to be separate. Your body is talking to you. You want to listen. Remember, just a quick recap. Mercury represents the nervous system and the perceptions that you have. So if you're cycling over thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and thoughts and you can't sleep, then you're going to wake up wanting a Red Bull or 6 extra cups of coffee, and that caffeine can trigger the cortisol, and then you're more exhausted by 2 p.m. So it's a vicious cycle. You want to just calm it down and start to take charge of what your body needs nutritionally, and then having great verbal expression, getting the anger out, write a journal if you have to, like, they said this, and get it out. And then have a healthy... hi, Sage. Oh, it is your right shoulder. And have a healthy dialogue and get it out. And then Mars, you don't want to be holding anger, because up shoots the cortisol and then down goes the knees onto the pavement because you're in your head, cycling and having conversations. And then you don't see that you're stepping off a curb. So little things like that can be avoided. Now we are entering into the Mercury in retrograde in Sagittarius, which what I find interesting is that when Mercury enters a different constellation, it's our timing that we're ready, depending on where Sagittarius is in your personal chart and what it looks like, what you're ready for. Because astrology is essentially a clock. It just tells you what time it is. It doesn't make you do anything. But what I see when Mercury is in Sagittarius, this is when our judgments come up big time. Judgments about our own health, our own healing, about what it should have been, what it needs to be, what didn't work, what has to work because I was told this is what works and I'm going to stick to it no matter what. So we need to let go and relax these judgments. Now, what hurts you? Vicky, let me know. What hurts you? Sage, your right shoulder. Okay, so then if you have an actual physical pain, you have to assess for yourself. Did I stretch it? I've had right shoulder pain, and I'm healing for 2 reasons. This might speak to you. One, I lifted a garage door for 7 years, several times a day, and then I had frozen shoulder because of it. And so my brother-in-law, who's a McKenzie therapist, gave me some exercises to do to stretch, to move the muscles and everything back into place. Okay, that was going along great. And then I changed my diet big time. And when I started incorporating more healthy fats into my diet, my gallbladder didn't know what to do with it. So right shoulder pain will also be referred pain from your gallbladder having difficulty digesting fats. So because of that, I started taking ox bile enzymes after I ate my main meals. And that helped the pain tremendously to go away, to mitigate. Now I'm working on healing the frozen shoulder, which, because me being a Taurus Capricorn rising, I could do it. Just what it has to get done. Just open the garage door, and after 7 years, our next door neighbor said, I have a garage door opener that I'm getting rid of. Do you guys want it? And my husband and I looked at each other and said, what have we not been thinking? Why are we so blinded by I can do it? So we installed the garage door opener. Now you know what it is. I press a button, the door opens. It's magic. I love that. Yay. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sage. Car accident, neck and shoulder. Okay, so that's mechanical, and that tells me too that you might be holding emotional stress in that area. So, if you were to write about the car accident, how you freeze, and I was in a car accident where my neck, I was immobilized for 9 days, couldn't move, and the terror and what rang through my body. So you want to be, journaling about that, especially during this retrograde, to let go of the fear that you held into your cells. And then do exercises. Definitely, I don't know where you are in the world, but if you're anywhere near New York or New Jersey, check out Todd Edelson, Mackenzie therapist. He'll have you healed and working it within 4 sessions or less. And that's his mission. But to also look at doing massage. What does the neck represent? Well, the neck in astrology is where Venus holds sway, and that would be adrenals. That's for Libra energy, but the two work together with the cortisol. But it's expression, holding in fear, not expressing enough. So the neck is also where we find we become a little stubborn in life, where we don't loosen up or let it out, where it's got to be one way. I remember when the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding first came out. It was first we saw the play in LA many years ago, and then Nia developed it with Tom Hanks, and it got turned into a movie. Good for her. We're so happy for her. And when Lainey Kazan was talking to her daughter about the hierarchy in a Greek family, it's yes, your father may be the head of the family, but the mother is the neck, and the neck turns the head whatever direction she wants. So you have to be flexible, and maybe that can help you. Vicky says left shoulder on and off and lower back pretty regularly. Okay, so lower back, that's a Saturn. We're looking at Saturn. Now, the emotional issue would be Leo, which is the sun. So Saturn deals with the bones, the skin, the teeth, the nails, the structure of the body. And if you have any Capricorn in your chart, you might be engaged in a healing for your structure. And structure represents several different levels, really. If you look at what's the structure of your life, do you take on too many burdens? Do you feel responsible for everyone? Do you have guilt? Do you not want to give up control or power? Are you afraid to move forward? So you want to look at your spine. Where do you not feel supported in life? Is it emotionally? Is it financially? Is it physically? So get up and stretch. Every 5 minutes, for every hour, get up and stretch for 5 minutes. The Eldoa exercises that I found on YouTube help my body as well. The Soleil solution I make with either real salt or Himalayan salt, and put chunks of that in a plastic container, fill it with water, close it, and let it do its thing. And the water will soak up all the minerals and trace minerals, anywhere from 70 to 84 that you need. Himalayan salt does not contain iodine, so you can always put a drop of nascent iodine into your solution, and then you take a 1/4 teaspoon, put it in a glass of water, and drink that in the morning, and it helps to plump up your spine and the vertebra, okay, between the bones, right, your whole structure. It helps to make you taller, literally, because then you're going to be stretching your spine with the Eldoa or the Mackenzie exercises. And then you ask yourself, do I feel financially supported? And if not, you look to progress that. Now, this is a great time of healing, even though Venus is now going direct tomorrow, and then add another 10 days for the whole process to take place. I'm still offering a great retrograde session. I'm including Uranus retrograde and Neptune retrograde. So if you click on the blue button that says book now, you can still get that session you can book that session through December 6th, and then it will apply not just to this time period, but for the next 2 years. So, and I just had a session yesterday with a gal who was suddenly ousted from work, and she's an Aries rising, and we talked about her really needing to take back her own power. And I looked at where the retrogrades were, and I said, and I had not met this woman prior. She was a referral from someone. She just booked it online, and we, met on the phone. And I said, you're this, you're this, you're this. Why are you so afraid to take your own power and consult in the world, be a business consultant? And there was silence. And then she said, I am ready. I'm just afraid. Until you put it into words, I never saw it like that, because she was ready to focus on the bullying at work. And I said, okay, you've been bullied before, not just this. Tell me when else. And then she said, I was bullied in my last job by my last boss. And I said, okay, so we have a pattern here. When you see a pattern of energy in your body, in your mind, in your life, what is it telling you? You want to look at what it's telling you. Now, I want to help you let go of some of these patterns, which we can do in 30 minutes. And then you apply this energy, and I guarantee you will see results if you apply what I tell you. So I want you to click on the link. Dean also posted, oh yeah, there it is, Astrology Mojo. Want to let go of something that no longer serves you? Please book a session. This is a Christmas gift you can give to yourself that will last for years and help set you up with a new pattern. And we're going to look at Uranus in your Uranus retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Mercury in retrograde. And it's not just for now, because then I talk about the solar eclipse that's coming up as well. And how this applies to the retrogrades and where you're going to burst out and move forward with a healing, with increasing finances, with your relationship to yourself first and then to others in the world, and how you want to design your life. Let's create an intentional life. What I do is transformational astrology. It's not just here's your, reading, here's your forecast for the week, the day, the month. This applies to your life. So if you want to take back your power, I want to help you. Get your mojo back. Let's get your mojo on. All right. So we are going to talk more now. Okay. Now with Neptune, a Neptune transit, Neptune energy, Neptune represents in general too much mucus in your body, too much liquid. So you may be dehydrated. If there's an imbalance, you may have too much. And that could result in allergies or feeling confused or a lot of coughing and deep-seated stuff in your lungs, that you want to get rid of. Or the addiction to murky waters. And what I mean by that is the addiction to something that doesn't serve you, but you can't let it go because it's the illusion of, oh no, but you said, or they said, or it's supposed to be. And, and then you start sneezing or you start coughing or there's parts of your body that just you won't heal because they're drowning in sorrow. Okay. That's the mucus energy. That's the too much liquid energy. That's too much wine. That's too much alcohol. That's too much chemical addiction. And chemical addiction can be nicotine. It can be caffeine. It can be sugar, right? Sugar is a great little addictive. Wow. You feel bad. You just have something sweet. You feel better. So you have to be careful with Neptune energy because even a healing method can be too much. People become obsessed with readings. And I'll say to people, look, until you apply what we've talked about, I don't think it's I don't mind taking your money, but I don't think it's a great idea to come back so soon. So let's apply what we know, what can help a little at a time. Suddenly people have like this awareness and they say, oh, I want to change this. Let's do it now. It's like, well, it took 30, 40, 50 years to get to this place. Let's give yourself a little time, little perspective. Mercury in retrograde in Sagittarius is going to help you with that perspective. But then you're going to go squirrel. Huh? You're going to, what? You want to be careful with that. So, here, I just pulled a card for everyone. Here is the least effort we want to do. So what I used to tell my clients, and I'll start over again, wisdom comes from knowing the order of things, and you are the first order of your business. So how do you want to heal? Is it by looking at the external? Oh, this pain, let me take the pill. The cough syrup, it may suppress symptoms, but it doesn't get to the cause. So you want to reduce inflammation in your body always. And by having, not only have I done urinalysis, blood work, lab work, hair analysis, and saliva testing, I've done DNA testing. And you can get your raw DNA data from Ancestry.com. And then I sent it to my doctor who does this, and she sent it to a lab. And from there, and if you're interested, just email me. Dean will send you my email or readings@astrologymojo.com. And I'll send you this info about where you can get your DNA testing. It doesn't cost that much money. And it tells you literally this 12 page report We had it done for all the members of the family, and you can see what your body wants. And people will say, "Oh no, yerba mate, yeah, it's really great. You got to, green tea. You're gonna love it, green tea." And in my report, it says, "No, nix the green tea. My body does not respond well to green tea," and it's so true. And I didn't need this report to know that, because I would taste it and I would get a headache, or I would not feel good. I'd feel weird, in my body. Yerba mate, same thing. And it even shows in my DNA testing that I can't have noise. Loud noises freak me out. I used to describe the sound of a motorcycle as akin to that of the worst menstrual pain ever. That's what a menstrual pain sounds like. My husband would laugh at me. "Casey, you're never late. You're always on time." And that's perfect, just like you. So when we talk about healing energy, you want to look at what your body wants and needs, not what they tell you is supposed to be good for you. Because it takes testing, it takes really understanding your own chemistry and then your own emotional makeup. Because you could be going through a lot of stress in your life. You have to work a lot, or you can't find jobs, or, whatever the thing is. And then suddenly you feel it in your body. You feel the headaches won't stop. And that can be a lack of minerals, headaches. Do a little test. This is what I did the other day. I had a really bad headache for 3 days in a row. So what I did was I had been taking DHEA, and DHEA at 5 milligrams. And so I stopped it because I had a really nasty headache. And 2 days later, I had no headache. And then 3 days after that, I had a mild headache. And then a day after that, really big headache. And I thought, okay, what's going on? It could be one of 3 things for me. So I took 5 milligrams of DHEA. Within 10 minutes, I would say 25% reduction in headache. And then I thought, okay, let me keep going. I know that if you're lacking trace minerals, minerals and trace minerals in your body, you could also experience headaches. So then I took a little Soleil solution. That's the real salt or the Himalayan salt with a little bit of iodine. And it's in water. And I took a 1/4 teaspoon, put it in a glass of water, drank that. 15 minutes later, again, reduction, about 35% of my headache went away. Then I thought, okay, so my body needed that, and it needed the DHEA. Now what else does it need? Do I need a chiropractor? Maybe I've just been sitting like this and working, which I have. And I thought, oh my God. So I did some neck stretches. And then we have a little hand massager in my, did my shoulders, and that felt better. Another 10-15% reduction. I thought, all right, I'm going to go for the third thing that I know has always worked for me. And that is vitamin D3 with K2, that combination. And I put 1 drop, 2,000 milligrams, in a little bit of water, sip that. 20 minutes later, headache is gone. So I know that these things will work for me. You have to see what works for you based on what you want, what you need. I'll have to reduce the what you want. Like Casey says, my body wants cookies and oranges and cucumbers. Okay, so you need some healthy liquid. You want some sugar and some vitamin C. There you go. So your body's telling you what you want, what you need. And I'll tell you, there's a really great combo cure for if you know you have high cortisol and you're stressed out, it's been a busy week, a month, and you just can't stop working, or you've got so many things to do, the agenda. Just know that around 10 p.m. at night, your adrenals begin to repair themselves. So it helps to turn off technology, and at least an hour before bed, and don't take it to bed with you. Keep your phone turned off completely in another room, because the EMF waves can cause headaches and high stress and anxiety as well. And watching TV before bed, playing a video game, being on your phone, all these things without blue light technology can raise cortisol. So, and this has been tested. So what you can do for yourself is you get some cream of tartar, which is literally the runoff of making wine. And it's the foam that's created when the wine is fermenting. The grapes are fermenting. So they scoop off the foam, and that foam becomes cream of tartar. Now you can use it to stiffen eggs when you're baking. Or you can take a 1/2 teaspoon of that, mix it in with some 2 teaspoons of lemon water, and a little bit of the Soleil solution, 1/4 teaspoon of that. You mix that together. And what you have in combination is high potassium, which lowers cortisol. And you have polyphenols that you would get in blueberries or cranberries or spinach, without having to eat those. And you can get a quick fix of potassium boost and vitamin C boost in a more natural form than ascorbic acid, which can cause cortisol to raise. So you've got to check your vitamin C levels. What do you eat? So if you have a little bit of lemon water, make sure to rinse your teeth because it can decay your enamel if you do this often. And then check yourself and say, how do I feel? Do I feel a little calmer? Do I feel more energetic? Do I feel less anxious in my mind and in my body? So all these little things can help you to reduce stress. All right, so we have just a couple more things to go. Uranus, the planet Uranus, represents your electrical system in your body. Now, Uranus governs the sign of Aquarius. Now, in ancient times, Aquarius was seen as the water bearer. Okay, well, actually, what Aquarius is, as we evolve, so does astrology. So Aquarius is the bearer of currents, electricity, air, and water. It is not a water sign, it's an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign, but it represents these currents. And so in your body, Uranus deals with the electricity as it's combined with the water in your body, even though water is attributed to Neptune, and also the moon at times, the ebb and flow of your energy. But Uranus deals with the sudden eruption or the sudden profound awareness and electrical charges. It's like clear. So when you have an electrical charge in your body, it can be exciting. It can prove to be very profound because you have ideas, or it can raise cortisol. And stress and cortisol go together like a little demon that wants to take you down. So again, if you've got tinnitus, or you have an odd symptom that you would say, oh, wow, if I went to a music concert, this is what it would sound like in my ears, but you haven't been to a music concert. Okay, are you wearing headphones all the time? Do you have music playing really loud in your ears? Let's look at the practical things as well. But then you want to look at what can cause this. And again, high copper levels, because of high cortisol levels, will cause tinnitus. That can be a symptom. And so you look at what can I do to support my body and the imbalances in my body. And that would be electrical system. You need a massage going up and down the spine. If you don't pay for one, maybe you have a friend or a lover who could help to move that energy, or you move that energy by utilizing something electric. That would be music. That would be biofeedback healing. Vibrational healing methods, laser treatments, or doing a little bit of jig in your living room to Zumba or something that makes you feel happy and electric. You want to get that moving because that also coincides with the Neptune energy of lymphatic system. We want to drain the lymphatic system, cut down on the dairy if necessary. So there's so many little healing tips that you can do just looking at what the planets represent. Now, just as zinc helps to balance copper and potassium and magnesium and their relationship to sodium, it's all balanced, you would look at not just what you're feeding yourself, but moving your body and your energy. And then we look at the shins in your body. That's a Uranus thing. So Uranus represents the shins and the calves in your body. You want to stretch your feet. If you did a little yoga, where you're just sitting still and your legs are outstretched. Let me do it this way. Your legs are outstretched before you, and to pull your toes back and stretch your calves, or get onto a step in your house, outside, or whatever, and just let your heels drop so that your shins are stretching. That's quite a stretch. And what that does is help your knees in turn, which helps your thighs and the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone and the blah, blah, so it just like works its way through your body. So these little stretches really help. And the last, not planet, but they're considering putting it back on status, that would be Pluto. Pluto recommends that you get to the core of things before any of this stuff goes down. Pluto represents the shore of your unconsciousness, the fears that begin, the transformation. It has to do with your reproductive system as it guides Scorpio, and anything that's regenerative. So if your body is going through a healing process, no, it's going to take 21 days minimum to get there. And as you regenerate your immune system in that time, with all the other things that we talked about, based on all the tests that you've already had, the urinary, saliva, hair test, and blood work, lab work, then you can start to, take the remedies or the healing methods or the exercises or whatever it is that you need, the foods you need to be eating and the foods you need to eliminate, so that nutritional healing, vibrational healing, thought healing, energy healing for your spirit as well, all comes under the guise of Pluto, and it's regenerative. So then it cycles back around, and then you start to regrow, skin, right? Or thoughts and emotions and healing, and you let go of what no longer serves you. So, okay, that's a lot of healing info and tips, and thank you everyone for being here and for showing up, and pass this along as I do more of these. I will be beginning a podcast in the new year on iTunes, and we're going to be talking more about these kinds of things and what can help you to heal from the inside out. Remember, you are pure conscious love, and your whole body, mind, spirit is your earthly trinity. And when you honor one, honor the other two as well. And click on the Book Now link so that I can help you transform something and keep that energy in motion, and you'll see massive changes within the next 2 years, and it'll last. The reading will last for that long. Okay, folks, be sparkly, be well. Thanks for being here, and I will be back on, hang on just a second. La, 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 la. This is my interstitial music. La, 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 la. I'll be back on Monday the 26th. Have a happy Thanksgiving here in the United States. Monday the 26th, I will be back, and we will be talking about more astrology and your body, mind, spirit, transformational healing. Be well. See you then. Bye.